there's so much kind of trans stuff going on now, but it tends to all be white, and I don't really want to kind of support the idea that all trans folks or all transsexuals are all European American.
We have gay TV now. I was just watching it the other day, and they have tons of trans people. It's like, but none of color, any color. So I just think it's important that we get our stories told and our voices heard.
I hope that this film just really just get out there to where it wouldn't be a question like, or someone say, I never heard of, a trans guy before, to where it'll just be, oh yeah, he a T guy or whatever, and then put it on top, it's black, it's like, wow.
As a kid, I always used to play Perry Mason. I was a weird kid. Other people wanted to play dolls or whatever. I wanted to play Perry Mason. So I would, and every Saturday, after watching episodes of Perry Mason, my bed in my room would be my little table, and I would, do cases. And so, I probably was 4 or 5 then. So, and then I did that, and I really just loved that, and then as I grew, this activism part of me grew, but it's because my parents were very active in the community. For them, their activism was through the American Legion, because my father was a World War II veteran, my mother 10 years younger than he, and they've been lifelong sweethearts, and since she was 14, through their whole lives together. So, but they were very active in the community through the American Legion, through the church, Second Baptist Church. And so I saw that and went with them to clean the graveyards, to mow other people's lawns, to do these things. And also just their attitudes of you stand up for what you believe in, and both my parents were stand up for what you believe in people. That just propelled my advocacy. And when my life unfolded, it was so important to fight for rights of just human beings in general, and of course that is my love and my passion. I worked in corporate America and went to work in corporate America after law school, again thinking I'm not going to be the cliche, the black civil rights lawyer, the black lesbian at the time, because that was the title that I thought was closest to who I was at the time. And so I went to work in this corporation, going to make lots of money. So I was going to conform. It was horrible, because then I had to dress, or try to dress, like they wanted, with hose and makeup. And I don't know if there are any people that wear those things, but it's quite costly to buy makeup and hose and all those things. And then you have to get up at the crack of dawn to get dressed. So, as you can tell, I'm not for that, which is why my head is shaved. I've never been for getting up early. But at any rate, I would just rip those clothes off as soon as I got in the car out of the work in the parking lot. I couldn't stand, just as soon as I could get them off. I'd just be undressing as soon as I got to the parking lot, because it was just horrible. And then makeup, the thought of makeup, and then I try to use as little as possible, and luckily my skin is sensitive, so I could use that as an excuse to not wear makeup or what they expected. And those dress codes held through, really, for most women into the 90s, and in some places, depending upon where you live, that's still a fight. And so my girlfriend every day would get up and say, okay, this is a uniform, to get me dressed every day. It was really a psychological, it's like, okay. And I would put the stuff on, and I would be so uncomfortable carrying the purse around. I'll never forget that. I had a good buddy that I worked with, and he would remember the purse, because I never remembered the purse. And he's like, God, you carry that like a lunch bucket, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, whatever. So I gave up the purse part. But he said to me when I stopped trying to do that, thank God you stopped doing that. You looked horrible. And I said to him, you're mine at the time, very good friend. Why didn't you tell me? I expect my friends to tell me the truth. And he didn't want to hurt my feelings. Just like, well, next time tell me the truth. And I did. I looked horrible. And I like to say I looked like a bad drag queen. And I did. So, and I don't think I was fooling anybody but myself, because who I was transcended the clothes. And eventually I got a new boss who made my life hell, and I was out of there after announcing transition in 6 months. 6 months. It was like fast, boom. And I had been a good employee. I just didn't think that company would ever do that. Just Pollyanna. I did a good job. Why would they want to get rid of me? Because we know that how you get promoted is how you look, right? How we get elected or how we do anything is how we look. So if we're treated differently, and I can always analogize this part of me to race, where a lot of times we're treated differently because we're a certain race, that really ostracizes us. It doesn't really help or benefit us in any realm of the imagination, and makes matters worse. So that's the whole dress thing that I got on at Harvard, because I'm really passionate about that, about people feeling like they can go to work and be comfortable and not have an expectation of having to be a certain way, or to be forced to be feminized or gendered or whatever. I started doing a lot of trans conferences because I wanted to get legal information out there about name changes, document changes, and so forth, and people weren't doing that then. In the big organization, nobody was doing that then, and me and I would meet a couple other guys doing the trans circuit, so to speak, and we'd go to conferences and doing that, and that kind of started my advocacy in the trans community, just doing those trans 101s of how you get your documents, where you get your documents, and how to navigate the process. And that helped me come into, because then that allowed me to connect to other trans people, and then to learn more about myself and embrace myself. And one of the best things were going to the conferences. And I remember True Spirit Conference, when it was just like a few of us, then it grew to larger and larger and a lot more trans people. But just being able to go there and have somebody understand, even without saying, what your experience is, and just going, wow, look at you, look at you, look at you, it's like, wow, you're buff there, you're this, you're that, all these things are happening. What are you doing about scars on your chest? Is my surgery comparable? Not meaning, we're one-upsman, but did I get